Hello and welcome to another episode on Roscast. If you're a new listener, thank you for honoring the invitation and deciding to check out this podcast. Thank you for deciding to check out this episode. I hope after listening to today's episode that it will make you a subscriber. And if you're a returning listener, thank you so much for coming back here. If you're not a subscriber, that's very kindly do. The comment section on Spotify is for your engagement. Kindly leave your questions, your feedback. I'll be very happy to engage with you. And if you are listening to this on YouTube, do the same as well. I'll respond to you. Now, today's episode topic is why pain is useful. Now, there's an episode that I did here like probably 2 years ago that has like I approached the topic in a similar way. I can't see their contents as similar. The title of that one is The Beauty of Being Stuck. Why I'm relating them is because they are both having titles that are trying to explain a difficult topic in a different way. I don't know. I don't know if I'm saying that way, but probably by the time you keep on with this topic today, you get what I'm trying to say. Now, I encourage that after listening to this episode, kindly do check The Beauty of Being Stuck. It may resonate with you if you are in that phase of your life. And if you've not listened to other episodes here, what are you waiting for? After listening to this one, kindly do. I'm very intentional with putting out very intentional podcast. My episodes are very intentional. God has been helping me to do that. And if you've listened to any of my episodes before, you know I always say that I try to share things that are kind of personal to me or things that I can relate because it helps me to express, to be more genuine in what I am giving to you. So let's start. Now, pain is not a pleasant emotion. It's not a pleasant sensation. Not sensation. It you can also use to express an emotion. An emotion can be painful. It is not a pleasant emotion, a pleasant sensation. When you are in pain, that is not a time when you are happy. It's not a time that you are joyful. So pain causes discomfort. However, as a medical doctor, pain for me, when a patient complains about pain to me, it's sort of like I won't say it's a positive thing, but it is a complaint that hastens or helps my diagnosis. So when a patient comes and tells me they are feeling pain in a particular area of their body, and specifically if they can actually point out where the pain is coming from, it helps me to quickly know what structure in that area of their body is being affected, and also helps the diagnosis, faster. So I remember in medical school, one of my lecturers thought and told us that pain is a good thing. If you are feeling pain, if a patient is feeling pain, is a good thing because it helps to identify the problem quicker. Now, I'm not going to start teaching you about pain yet. This is not the medical class. And if you happen to be related to the medical field, I'm sure you understand. But if you're not a medically related person, I'm not going to teach you about pain here. However, pain is not seen as a negative. It's not always seen as a negative thing. Let me not say it's not all the time that a patient is complaining of pain and we are happy. But like I said, it helps diagnosis faster. But then there are cases where people with certain conditions are unable to feel or localize pain, and we are concerned for them because pain also helps you to stay away from danger. For example, patients that are diabetic, sometimes, depending on how far it has progressed, it can damage their nerves and they are unable to sense pain. So one of the advice we give to diabetic patients is to wear socks to allow someone to take care of their nails, to be careful so that they don't because they've lost sensation in those parts, they don't hurt themselves, because when they hurt themselves they can't even feel there is pain, so they can't even attend to that part of their body, and thus it can lead to infection and can even lead to death if the infection is not well managed. Also, and apart from diabetic patients, yes, another case like that is leprosy. Thankfully, in our time, leprosy has become less common. But leprosy is another condition where nerve endings are hurt and the patients can't feel the pain, and thus they can't protect themselves. Okay, now this is the end of health. Let us go into today's topic. Now, why did I come in this topic? Now, why did this topic come to my mind? Now, to be honest, I was in pain when this topic came up in my mind. And I realized that I'm always very well inspired when I'm going through difficult experiences. Now, I don't know if it's a coping mechanism for me, if it's a way of God just helping me to go through difficult times, but I realize that when I am in pain, or when I'm going through a difficult experience, I just have so much inspiration through that experience. And I'm not saying good things don't inspire me, but I realize I'm very much more creative when I'm going through a tough time or when I'm in pain. And when I respond to the creativity that comes from that period, what I create during that time turns to bless me. So whenever I'm going through a difficult time, I truly want to see what is the big thing I can learn. What can I do with this? Now this topic came from such moment. I was in pain, and I thought about it, I was like, God, what is the use of this pain? And then this topic dropped in my mind. So that's inspiration behind this topic. But then I'm going to go more into it. Now, pain, like I said, is unpleasant, but pain is not always it doesn't always it's not always a significant that all is going so bad in your life. Pain can be useful. Pain is useful in the life of a Christian, and that's where I'm coming from today. Pain is useful in the life of a Christian. Pain is a reminder that our time on earth is temporary. It's a reminder that we are humans, and our time on earth and our body is not perfect. Our body is not permanent on earth, and there is a life after death. There's life after earth. Me, I see pain as a clicking clock. As a clicking clock. Is it a clicking clock? Hey, goodness, I'm sorry. If you are so English, I'm sorry. I think I've said it wrong, but let us just go on. Pain is like the clock is ticking. Yes, I think it's ticking that I wanted to say. Pain is a reminder that the clock is ticking and that there is not much time as we think, and I have to maximize my time on it. It's a reminder that my life is very temporary. I think I already said that before. And also, pain sometimes also signifies that something new is about to comfort. For example, in the case of a mother in labor, when a mother is about to give birth, in most cases, she goes into labor pain, and labor pain it signifies that this baby is about to pop out. This baby you've been waiting on for months will soon come into the world, and in due process, the baby comes out and everything is gone. So, pain can also signify that something is about to be birthed, something is about to comfort, and therefore, in the life of a believer, pain is not something that we run away from. It may not be something that we wish upon ourselves, but it's a reality that we have to know that it's part of our life. Jesus, speaking to his disciples, said that you can't follow me if you don't take up your cross. And the cross he was signifying there was not something that is comfortable, it's not something that is pleasant, it's something that needs sacrifice. Pain is also it signifies that growth is going on. It signifies that you are shedding off in your life. You are shedding off spiritually, physically. There are things in your life that you are shedding off, and it is showing that there are things that God is taking away from you. There are things that you need to sacrifice that may cause a temporary pain to bring greater glory in your life and in your purpose. So as a believer, as a Christian, pain is not something that I'll run away from, because it's always going to come up in different stages of our walk with God, in different stages of the seasons that God is bringing us into. And I'm learning that when God is bringing us into a new season, we may have to go through a betting pain in the previous season before the new season comes forth. And as much as this is very uncomfortable to think about and to even experience, it's the reality that God keeps teaching me that I need to hold out. Now, pain is useful because it also tests our maturity. How much can you trust God even when it is hard to trust God? How much can you hold on even when it's hard to hold on? How much can you hope and have faith even when it's hard to? How much can you believe in the word that God has spoken to you directly, in your heart, and the word he has spoken to you through his word, if you cannot exercise patience during that time? And waiting comes with its pain. Now, several places in the Bible describes this pain, and I'm going to be reading two passages by God's grace today, and one of them is coming from Romans chapter 8. And if you hear the flipping of my Bible, yes, I'm reading directly King James Version. Now, Romans chapter 8, I'm reading from verse 18, says, "For I reckon that the sufferings of these present times are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creature waited for the manifestation of the sons of God. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who has subjected the same in hope, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty. For we know that the whole creature groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruit of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our bodies." Verse 24. "For we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man seeth, why does he yet hope for?" Verse 25. "But if we hope for that we see not, then we do with patience wait for it." Now, this is a particular part of the Bible where we say, the earth in its creation is waiting for the manifestation of the children of God, and they are groaning, they are in pain. And it just emphasizes what I said before, that when God is bringing us into a new season, when God is bringing us to a new platform, there's a betting pain that we'll have to go through in order to go into that season. And one of the hard truths I've been learning, I've been going through, to accept that I cannot run away from this betting pain. No matter if I keep running away from it, I may not get into that new season that God has for me, because I need to shed off in order to get into this new season. Now, pain is very useful in the life of a believer, aside from what I said before, keeping us in the reminder of eternity, just making us realize that this world is not perfect. But it also just keeps in perspective that there is a comfort that God wants you to provide to other people. Now, why do you have to go through heartbreaks? Why do you have to go through sufferings? Why do you have to go through lack? Why do you have to go through disappointment and probably even betrayal? Why do you have to go through these difficult experiences that bring you pain? I believe that as a child of God, that God allows things to happen to me, and it is for a greater glory. And another reason, which I have said, probably if you've listened to other podcasts, I've said using this phrase before, is that I strongly believe that there are things that I go through because God knows that I'll be of a greater capacity to comfort somebody that will be in that position like me in the future. And I've realized that the few times that God has given me the opportunity to comfort people with something I've gone through, I realized I was a better comforter. And I felt even more blessed being able to use my difficult experiences that I went through in order to bless other people. In this same Romans chapter 8, verse 28, one of my favorite verses to quote, and I've quoted it a number of times on this place too. Verse 28 says that, "And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them which are called according to his purpose." And all things there include even the pain that you go through. So God is maximizing everything that happens to me. And that perspective has helped me, that even when I'm in my darkest tunnel, when there's no light and I'm seeing at the end of the tunnel, reminding myself that God is using this for a greater glory has always been a great anchor and help for me. Now, let me just be honest. Not every pain we go through, it makes sense. At least not when we are going through them. Not everything will make sense. Some pain that we would go through may only make sense later on. Later on, God may give us understanding about it. And I don't want to say, probably some pain may never even make sense. But I think for me, and what I'll keep practicing in my life, is choosing to trust God that I have given my life to, even when I don't understand, has been something that has, just popped out to help me. And I always used to say that God is willing to help us in our journey, in our work with Him, because He knows that we are frail. Our humanity is frail. And the more I keep accepting that my humanity is frail, and the fact that I don't have the capacity to handle everything myself, has remained humbling for me, because it helps me to go back to my source, which is God. The other passage I'm going to read is going to be from Revelation chapter 20. Revelation chapter 21 from verse 4, and it says, "And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away." When this verse came into my heart, when I was thinking of this topic, it just reemphasized what I said before, that, on earth, temporary, eternity is permanent. And that is where God is going to take away all our pain. And there will be no cause of pain, because there's no cause to be refined or be renewed, because there we are going to be perfect as we are supposed to be. And maybe the question, why does it have to get to that point? Because we are living in a fallen world. We are living in an imperfect world. And that is why right now is the time to make sure that your walk with God, you are intentional about it. Now is the time to do the work. Now is the time to allow your experience be a teacher, be a tool, be a platform that God is going to use. Because the assurance is that at the end of the day, all the things that cost us pain, God is going to take them away forever. And I'm not saying this as a cliche. There are people that have been before us, that have gone through it before, and they've gotten the assurance. And as we are continuing working in our walk with God, there's a reassurance in our hearts that all things work together for our good. Now, I don't know how much this podcast blessed you. I don't know how much this episode blessed you. I don't know where you are right now in your life. Probably you are struggling. Maybe you are in pain like me. Maybe you are, you went through pain like me. You're going through a current pain. But I hope this podcast blessed you. I hope it encouraged you. And I want to advise you that if you have anybody around you that is going through a current pain, I pray that you are a source of encouragement to them, and God will give you wisdom on how to comfort them and encourage them. If this blessed you, do not hesitate to share with somebody. And also do not hesitate to leave your comments as well. So with that being said, until next time on Roscast, continue to stay safe and God bless. Bye-bye.